Quick little disclaimer before this video begins. This video is in no way, shape, or form a testimony. What this video is really me sharing with you guys my own experiences and how my spirituality has played an influence in my music. I feel like when I was getting started as a musician, I would hone in more on my technical skills, and it was still typically a cathartic release for me. If I wrote like a melancholic song, it was probably because I was feeling pretty down and blue in that moment, so that's why I would write the song. But a lot of what I was doing from 2015 to about 2020, 2021 was, with each album, I would try and learn a new set of skills, and I would kind of build my palette up. And that was across the board with everything. My instrumentation, my songwriting, my production. So, for example, with my first couple of albums, I was using a program called Audacity to record, and it's a free program, but very, very limited on what you can do with it. But then fast forward a couple of years, and then I started experimenting with other programs, and then I jumped into Adobe Audition, and then after that came Logic Pro, and that's currently what I'm using. In that case, I grew as a musician technically, and I did mature with my sound as time went on, but I think the biggest shift for me was, as I've said before, was with In Bereft Land, where everything that I thought I knew about writing music and producing and all of that, it didn't necessarily go down the drain, but it totally changed my way of thinking. And I realized that maybe I don't have to be completely in control to write a good song. Now, when Mitch and I started up Minutes Unsettled, it was my first real experience having a writing partner. So I wanted Mitch to have a say in that. So I pretty much let him call all the shots. So that kind of opened me up in that time to start saying, okay, I don't have to control every little knob and gadget and wazoo and stuff like that to create this song. I'm going to let someone else do the work, and then I'll jump in with whatever I feel is necessary or what I feel I can add to. But then with Empower, that was the follow-up album. That was my solo album. Oddly enough, with that album, I relinquished even more control of myself as a songwriter. Even though, yes, I was controlling everything, I was pulling all of the strings, I had no help or very limited help within that album, I feel like that's the album that I had the least control over creating. So, where did it all come from? Why spirituality, of course. During that time, that's when I fully leaned into the world of spirituality. So I thought that crystals were cool, I thought astrology was cool, and that's what Empower is really kind of pointed at. I thought tarot cards were really cool. I was like into all of that type of stuff, and I still am, but the biggest reason I was into it during that time was because it was healing me. Like, it was healing a lot of things that I thought I knew about myself. It was just healing so many aspects of myself and helping me, in a way, recreate myself and, really bloom in my own sense. But again, these songs didn't really come from me so much. They have my personal touch and my own bit of flair on it, and my personality really shines through in the songs, but the way that these songs came to me helped, in a way, reconstruct my writing once again. So, for example, the song I Wonder, that song came to me in a dream. I had this dream that I was playing guitar. I think it was like up on stage or something. The details of it don't really matter, other than the fact that I was just strumming my guitar and I was singing the first verse of everything that you hear in that first verse. I heard in a dream. And when I woke up that morning, I was like, where the hell did that song come from? What song is that? I've never heard anything like that before. So I got out of bed, grabbed my guitar, and immediately started playing it. My fingers knew exactly which chords to strike. It just came to me. And the thing about I Wonder is it kind of has like this country, folky, not like outlaw country, but like that type of like, almost like a Johnny Cash type of vibe I don't write songs like that, or I didn't before writing that song. I was just used to writing like these power chord, hot rod rock songs. So this song kind of came out of me out of the blue because it again didn't feel like anything that I would typically write. So that's what made me say, oh shit, I can actually write songs like these.
I wonder if you have ever drifted yourself off to sleep thinking of me. Thunder hurts like no other, lightning strikes a tray. You remain in my dream.
And that's the case with a lot of these songs. You know, they didn't all come from dreams or anything like that, but the way that they were constructed didn't feel like it was coming from me. It was just flowing through me. Not every single part of every song was completely autonomous. A lot of it was, you know, I'd get like this idea, like, I'd be like, what the hell is this? I don't know, but I'm just gonna keep going with it. And then I'd kind of adjust myself to the style. And that's kind of what helped me establish the whole personality too. Like, I've always enjoyed really dark, almost spooky looking characters in different shows and movies and video games and stuff like that. And I wanted to create that myself. With Soul Apart, the reason I even called myself Soul Apart, like having a name and dressed myself up in the hat and the suit and all of that, was because I wanted that separation of who I was versus the art that I was creating. Now, Empower tells a story, especially visually, where within that character as well, because the whole idea of the character is like this very spooky looking guy, kind of kooky and quirky and stuff. It's kind of breaking that character out and becoming myself. That's really what the album is about. It's finally stepping away from this really dark, ugly side of myself that I've felt bottled up in myself for years, and saying I love myself for who I am, not how I feel like I should have to portray myself. So what I would recommend if you want to check out the story in a visual sense is check out the music videos in this order, starting with Death Row, then go into Gallows, then into Shag Carpet, and then finally end with Washed Off Whiteboard. And the album is so much more than just the music videos. It has a even bigger picture than just what the music videos show, but that's kind of the idea on what the album is about. Now, as far as minutes goes, as I said in, I think, the last video, I don't feel like I have to go and break that animal out anymore. Again, it's just a part of who I am, and it's a part that I love. Like, I embrace that side of myself. And I think that's something that spirituality has really, it helps a lot of people actually embrace. As a matter of fact, it's not just me, because spirituality isn't all about like this love and light and positivity and stuff. It's actually quite the opposite. It's getting into the dark and ugly about yourself and taking accountability and learning, you know, just who you are as a person through your darker aspects of yourself. Let me just say for one moment here that Minutes Unsettled, with this new chapter that we're going into, it's pretty heavy. It's reflective over a chapter that's happened in my life within this past year. The energy of it is, without giving anything away, is what Mitch referred to as frustration is the key word. Ew. Point blank is, don't be afraid of your shadow self. Lean into it more. Don't be afraid of it. You're giving it more power. And if you're an artist, then you're probably already doing this, but if not, maybe you should. Explore the unknown sides of yourself and tap into that side, because you learn so much about yourself. That's all I gotta say. I don't really have a closing parting thought other than that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.